Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Anthropocene Reviewed, ReNewted. I am your host, Newt Start, and today's first episode will be based off the man who created the original, John Green. John Green was born August 24th, 1997. I'm going to check my source right now to see if that is correct. Checking it right now. This is embarrassing, so I should do scripts more. Yep. August 24th, 1977. And many of you might know him as John Green from Crash Course U.S. History, or from the guy who wrote The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, or even what's being mimicked right now, the Anthropocene Reviewed. Now, recently I've wanted to do this because in a way, I like the way the format of the Anthropocene Review was done. And John Green himself has always been interesting to me. I've only ever seen one side of John Green, and that's John Green from Crash Course U.S. History. Never genuinely felt like there was another side of John Green until the Anthropocene Reviewed. Sure, I knew he wrote books and was responsible for the movie as well, or The Fault in Our Stars, but knowing that this man has a podcast and listening to him was great and immaculate. It was an experience that I really don't think I could honestly replicate again, hearing it the first time and having to hear it again and again. But I'm not really here to talk about that, honestly. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Mr. Green or anything. John Green is a great man who will constantly help a lot of people with Crash Course, and who will inspire a lot more people with his works of Paper Towns and everything else. And his podcast will still be listened by millions of college kids. But that's the thing, it won't really last forever, will it? Or will it ever be heard at all? I remember showing the Anthropocene podcast to my friend Dilo, showing it to her because I needed to do it for a homework assignment, and I didn't want to do it alone this time, really wanted to show it. And when I asked her if she knew who John Green was, she didn't. Kind of felt kind of selfish of me to assume that everyone knows who John Green is, assuming that I knew because I was exposed to him. Sure, my friend Ram knows who he is, but not everyone does. In a way that kind of was a bad thing for me to do, to assume everyone would know who John Green is just because I had an experience with him, an experience that I really think is a good one. But that's the thing about all this, isn't it? Different humans have different experiences, and eventually our experiences will become obsolete and not really known. I remember watching Brain Pop a lot as a kid when I was growing up in elementary school, constantly watching Tim and Moby, or for the younger audiences, Tim and Annie. But, well, not Tim and Annie, Moby and Annie, but in a way, when I go to school now for my little sister and for all the other siblings I have to go through, they don't watch Brain Pop anymore. Last kid that saw it was my sister, and that was only in the 5th grade for her. And when I went to middle school and high school, I was exposed to Crash Course, John Green. With curriculums changing and everything for schools, Brain Pop has sort of become obsolete. I haven't seen or heard of Tim and Moby, aside from the people my age that grew up with Tim and Moby. Brain Pop might be dead in schools, and no one else will get to experience Brain Pop like I did. Kind of makes you wonder how your parents feel about school now. You know, how back in my day this, or back in my day that. Constantly experiencing that experience, but I'll never truly get it back or replicate the first time. Brain Pop has become obsolete. And while John Green and Crash Course are relevant, eventually they won't be using John Green anymore. Eventually, The Fault in Our Stars will be lost to the books, will be in the dollar bins or in the Dollar Trees being sold there, despite the fact that it inspired many people and had a movie. And eventually, the Anthropocene podcast will be forgotten because John Green is no longer making new episodes. He's moved on to making more and more books. And that kind of hurts, doesn't it? The idea of the fact that our experiences that we believe define us, not everyone will share them. Eventually, our experiences growing up, watching certain people, no one will be able to experience that because time changes. And what's okay then and what was good for us then is no longer good or deemable enough for people of the now. But just because our experiences might not happen doesn't mean we can't share them anymore. You can still look up Brain Pop and watch Brain Pop videos somewhere in the world. You can still watch John Green Crash Course. And even if one day the entire Brain Pop website goes down, or if one day John Green's Crash Course goes down, or if every copy of The Fault in Our Stars disappears, both the movie and the book, people are dedicated enough to want to find these works and preserve these experiences that they've had. A lot of people were trying to find the SpongeBob SquarePants freaking commercial for chocolate milk, and they found it. Humans and people will constantly try and find lost media or things that they've thought were lost because they experienced it. And in a way, our experiences of trying to find something will always lead to us to preserve our stuff. Our fascination with the past and what the past experienced is always something good. Kind of ironic how, in a way, John Green's podcast sort of lives on in this way. Because if we can't find that experience, we'll try and recreate that experience. I'm recreating the Anthropocene podcast just like this. So, John Green, not a bad guy. Really do appreciate his work. I give John Green 3 out of 5 sea foams. Thanks for listening to this episode. See you on the next one.